Hello HootVid users. In this video we're going to review a new feature inside the system that's called source sheets. And source sheets quite simply are just a way for now users and advertisers to manage their dynamic data within the platform itself. So let's take a look at a source sheet to start. To get to source sheets, they will be under your settings and you'll see source sheets here. See, I've already got a few of these set up. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of these I've already set up, the holiday meals one. And you'll see these source sheets look a lot like just a spreadsheet. They've got columns and rows. We've got columns for each of the fields that we want to use as dynamic content, then and a row for each record. And so now using this, the data can be stored within the HootVid system, and when you want to have a change made in one of your dynamic ads, you can simply make the update here. So if we wanted to change the special, maybe remove the tenderloin meal and I'll add a row for the green bean casserole. And we can put the information in for that, remove the tenderloin meal, upload an image of course, save that, and then automatically all the live ads running in your campaigns will automatically be updated with this new dynamic content the following day. So that's essentially what a source sheet is and how it works. Let's talk for a second though about when these will likely be used most often. So there's really two main times you're going to want to use a source sheet. The first, and I think the most common, is going to be when an advertiser wants to just make manual updates to its dynamic content on an ad hoc basis. So my example here is a furniture retailer. You know, the furniture retailer likely is coming out with new specials and new promotions every few weeks. Not on a set schedule, like once a day or once a week, but just when the sales manager decides, okay, we want to stop doing the sale on mattresses and instead we want to start promoting 10% off leather sectionals. This is a perfect situation for the use of a source sheet where when that change needs to be made, you just go into the system and you make the change in the source sheet rather than having to worry about setting up some sort of integration with a Google Sheet or scraping up the website. The second situation where likely you would want to use a source sheet is when you're creating an ad that's not really going to be dynamic. And this is becoming more and more common with our users when they're finding that the HootVid templates are really a good fit for something like, my example here, a for-profit college, a trade school, where they might want to have a video ad promoting their different degree programs and maybe the average salaries that they can expect to make after they graduate. So, dental assistant, you should make $45K after you graduate with this. HVAC technician, they make this. Where that information is not going to change over time, or at least not quickly, likely not until the next salary survey next year. But it is a good fit for the type of content to go into one of our templates. So this would be a good situation where you would want to use a source sheet to simply set up what degree programs you want to show and those starting salaries to become the content for the ad. So those are the two main situations where you'll likely want to use a source sheet. I'm sure there'll be others, but let's go ahead and take a look at actually how we create one. So I'm going to kind of start from scratch here and I'm going to add a new sheet, and really just giving it a name is all you need to do to create one. So demo source sheet is what I'll call this one. Okay, now the source sheet exists. It's a sad and empty source sheet. So we're going to want to define the columns and the rows. So you'd first define some columns, and we're going to redo that holiday meals. So we're going to have a column for the title of the offer, and that's going to be a text. And then we're going to add a column for the price. We're going to leave that text too. And then we'll probably want to have a column for the image. Now, if you want to be able to upload images from your local machine, you're going to want to change the column type to image file. And that's what's going to give us the ability to upload. So let me add that as well. So those will be the columns we want to have. And then we can start adding records by adding a row. And so this is where we'd put our green bean casserole. And the price, it's $20 for a bucket of it, and then we could upload our image file from our local machine. So that is one way you can set this up and start getting data into your source sheet, but there's actually two other ways that you'll likely find a lot easier. So let me go ahead and remove what we've got here. The second way to get data in is by using our import function. So you might already have something like a spreadsheet or a CSV file already set up. Maybe the advertiser sent you this of here's the specials we want to promote for the next few weeks, the next month. And from here you can upload that into the system. That's what we were just taking a look at in the Excel spreadsheet, and it's going to automatically put all that stuff in there for you. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. The image is coming through as a text field. Let's go ahead and add a new column so we can upload images and add some. So the turkey meal, the ham dinner with the apricot ginger glaze, and the encrusted tenderloin. There we go. Now if I hit save, it is now in there, so we can see when we go back to source sheets in the list, we have our new demo source sheet, and if we edit it, we can now see that it does have the records that we imported from that spreadsheet. So that covers two of the ways to get data in and manage data. First being just manually enter it here in the interface. Second being to upload an Excel spreadsheet or CSV file. But there's also one other option. So let's go back to the list. And every single one of these source sheets is going to have a share URL. And this is going to give you the ability to share access to that source sheet with people who are not users in the system. So let me just show this as an example. I'll copy the share URL and go over to another browser here and paste that in. So this is what you might want to send to maybe a team member that is handling the data updates for your advertisers, or possibly even share this with the advertiser themselves so they don't have to have a login to the HootVid system, but now with this share URL they can come in and update their information on their own. So now maybe the sales manager at the furniture retailer or at Central Market in this situation can go ahead and make the updates, and they could, oh, actually we've got that not for $289, that's $299 for that. Save. They were able to do that without any access to the system, but now when we go back to the system as a user and look within there, you can see that did correctly update the tenderloin to $299 rather than $289. So a really nice way to share access for others who are not HootVid users to update your data source. Okay, the last thing we would need to cover on this is how we would then use these within your dynamic ads. This is one area where we hope to improve it and make it a little easier in the future. But for right now, it all happens with the source sheet URL. And we can copy the URL right here. And from here, it works just the same as setting up any other data source in the system. So I'll just go through the beginning of that. So we come to advertisers, and let me go to my MAO demo advertiser. And you go to the data source section for that, because all data sources are set up at the advertiser level. And just like you would with a Facebook connection or a feed or anything like that, you just give it a name. So, new data source, and you copy that feed URL or paste that feed URL that we just copied from the source sheet. And that's how we create it in here, and then it can be connected to an ad. And that pretty much sums up the use of source sheets. You should find additional written documentation in our help docs. And of course, if you ever need help beyond that, just reach out to your campaign manager. We're always eager to help.